So what are Hong Kong's successes and challenges as the region enters its 20th anniversary? We're joined now by CGTN's current affairs commentator, Victor Gao. Victor, you were the English interpreter of late Chinese leader Deng Xiaoping, who devised and formulated this one country, two systems plan. But lots of Western skeptics and commentators allege that this system is not working. Western media has been framing and selling the story that Beijing never stops tightening control over Hong Kong politically and socially. So what would you say to those critics?
Well, first of all, Deng Xiaoping really demonstrated a lot of genius and wisdom when he came up with this one country, two system principle, which served to break the deadlock in China-UK negotiations back in the 1980s over the future of Hong Kong in 1997. I would say for the first 20 years after Hong Kong's returning back to China in 1997, the one country, two system has served as the fundamental pillar for the political system in Hong Kong. In the past 20 years, of course, there are problems that we need to address and overcome, but no one should doubt the vitality of the one country, two system principle. For those critics, especially abroad, who have criticized the one country, two system principle, I would urge them to really see the reality on the ground. Over the past 20 years, Hong Kong has maintained more than 3.5% GDP growth per annum, which is actually one of the highest growth rates among all the developed economies in the world. Hong Kong is actually treated as a separate economy within the WTO system. In this sense, I think we need to give Hong Kong a lot of credibility over what it has achieved over the past 20 years. Of course, there are problems and challenges and difficulties in Hong Kong that need to be taken care of. Hong Kong is in transition as far as its economic development paradigm is concerned. There are lots of people who may not be happy about the situation in Hong Kong, especially the younger generation. They want to have better jobs, high-paying jobs. All these are fully understandable and logical. However, this should not be enough reason to challenge the validity and the legality of the one country, two system principle. I would say that Deng Xiaoping's wisdom, courage, and vision will continue to guide people in Hong Kong through the continued practice of the one country, two system in the coming 30 years.
Victor, you mentioned the transition.
Ever indulge.
One important transition is electoral transition. We have about 1 minute. A main Western, some Western commentators and governments said that Hong Kong's electoral system was not sound. Recently, a BBC reporter actually grilled Carrie Lam in an interview questioning the design of this electoral college system to elect its chief executive. They're saying that Lam does not have the mandate of the people. So what would you say to those critics?
Well, first of all, for more than 100 years when the British were ruling Hong Kong, there was no single election at all. All the governors were appointed directly by the monarch in Britain. So I would say in this sense, the British actually do not have any legitimacy in questioning the election system in Hong Kong. Now, whether the nominating process, the election process in Hong Kong are the best in the world, for example, we do not need to pass on a judgment on that. It would require a process of more democratization in Hong Kong. But, to come up with condemnation of the election system in Hong Kong as if that's not democratic, I think is a little bit of hypocrisy in itself. We need to promote more democratic process in Hong Kong so that eventually universal suffrage will be practiced in Hong Kong. But it takes time, and we do not need to make one single jump to the final destination. Sometimes taking more steps in the right direction may be the better choice for Hong Kong.
Well, Victor, what about the economic futures between the Chinese mainland and Hong Kong? We know the bridge linking the two sides are to be built. Going forward, how do you think the two sides can complement each other, nurture each other economically?
First of all, I think the higher level of integration between Hong Kong and mainland China in terms of the economic development, the better it will be for the people in Hong Kong. On the other hand, I think Hong Kong also need to keep and continue to grow its unique competitiveness That is, Hong Kong is not only for Hong Kong itself, it is not just for mainland China itself. Hong Kong is also for, let's say, the One Belt, One Road initiative. Hong Kong is also for the rest of the world. Hong Kong is very much plugged in into the globalization drive. Therefore, Hong Kong needs to keep its unique competitiveness while becoming more and more integrated with the rest of China in terms of economic development in the coming years and coming decades.
Victor Gao from Beijing, thank you very much.